Okay, we can start from there.
How have you seen Kavan develop, especially throughout the season, just skill-wise?
Well, I think the biggest thing is how well he's shooting the basketball. He's been 2 of 3 from 3 the last 3 games. And when he does that, now he's better able to use his length and get into the basket and things like that. And, that's a tribute to Kavan, just getting in the gym, shooting on his own. So I think that's the first thing. And then I think he's kind of developing more of a feel for where he can get shots. Obviously, it's a whole lot different than how he's going to get shots in high school. And he's making that transition real well.
What does Tony need to do to get back to where he was before this road trip?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just really making sure he's right mentally, and then teams are making the adjustment of doubling him. And getting double-teamed as aggressively as he got double-teamed these last 2 games, that's an adjustment. And then I think the second thing is he's got to make sure he stops fouling. He's gotten some easy and quick fouls, and that's taking him out of the game. You foul out of both games. He was kind of on his heels both games. A lot of it just because of early foul trouble.
How does he stay out of foul trouble?
One, what we said first, he's got to make sure he's mentally prepared to play, and he's got to do his work early. In other words, you can't wait to get in post defense. You've got to start to work on your post defense early before the guy gets into scoring in an operational area. He's got to do his work to keep him from getting the ball deep. All those things, that preparation before the ball actually gets there.
Could you tell that frustration maybe played a part in those last 2 games for him? Just them double teaming him and him getting frustrated with.
Yeah, I think a little bit. One, the double team, but more than that, just kind of getting those fouls. You just start to get going and you get a cheap foul. The game at Arizona where he has the ball in a good position, makes a good post move, misses the jump hook in the middle lane, then goes for the offensive rebound and gets an over the back call. And it's just like, okay, here we're going now, and then he gets the foul, and now he has to come sit down next to me, which that in itself is a problem. So that'll frustrate you. But I think he had such good games going into the Arizonas that's what was really disappointing for him, and nobody wants it to do well more than him. He's a guy that really cares about his teammates. I know he wants to do great. We want him to do great, and so we're hoping being back here at Poly Pavilion that things are going to turn back around the way they were before we left the state.
How much would you say he kind of became a part of the offensive identity when you guys were flowing on offense before this past weekend?
Well, it's always great when you can go from inside out. I think everybody shoots the ball better when you have an inside presence, because now you have guys closing out at you as opposed to draped on you. And when Tony is a presence inside, it makes things so much easier for everybody else. And so kind of Tony is a huge key to us. And I think when we came back and we practiced yesterday, you could tell an even greater sense of urgency than I have seen in 2 years.
How much does it help to have a guy with Kavan's length at the top of that 3-2 zone, just adjusting kind of everything an offense does?
Well, I think it's great. You have a 7'4" wingspan. That's not kind of a normal dude up there. And so having Kavan up there, it just gives us a much different look. And when he goes, and even when the ball goes to the corner, he's able to get down and front the post. And it's really given us another look defensively. And if you think Arizona went into the game scoring over 70 points a game, and to keep them well under 60, that was a big part of it. It was being able to change defenses, and then to be able to utilize Kavan's length is part of that.
What's the learning curve been like for the zone with this year's team compared to last year's?
Well, one, I think, last year we were able to just outscore people. And this year I think we're probably playing a lot better defensively. We just don't have quite the firepower, obviously, that we did last year. But, we're starting to learn, and someone like Kavan really had never played zone before. Certainly not a 2-3 zone. And so a lot of these guys, it was a completely new defense for them. And so being able to change defenses is what's has made our zone a lot more effective. And last year we didn't play the 3-2 zone, and the reason for that, obviously, we didn't have a Kavan Mooney with that type of length. And we stole the ball out. We weren't a great lockdown defensive team last year, but we were one of the best top 5 or whatever in the country in getting steals, and that was a lot because of the basketball IQ of guys like the Wares, Kyle Anderson, Jordan Adams. Those guys had such high basketball IQ that we got so many steals, which led to easy baskets. This year we're kind of having to grind it out a little bit more defensively, not quite as many steals, but I think we are a little bit better defensively.
I know zone was kind of the defense of your choice when you were coaching in high school. Is that something you've always taught the zone, or is?
Well, when I was the head coach at Wright State University, we were probably more man-to-man and even some combination defenses, triangle and two, diamond and one, doing anything we can to try and steal some possessions. But as I went and did some high school stuff, I was doing the pro training, we ran all zone, and the philosophy behind it was it didn't take quite as long to drill the zone, and so we were able to spend more time at skill development and really trying to increase the player's ability to shoot the ball, handle pressure, those type things. So it was kind of one, more than anything, just to give our players the best opportunity to grow as a skilled basketball player.
What's been the hardest aspect of the zone for this team to kind of master?
Well, I think one of the things is some of these new guys had never played it. And so being able to teach something new and then going against some of the teams, especially that we had to play early, we going against the Kentuckys and the Gonzagas, that's probably the biggest adjustment for everybody, is going against that level of talent. And but the guys have hung in there. We've gotten better at it, and being able to change defenses and even adding some of the pressing aspect to it has helped our defense and has helped keep teams a little bit off balance. And now they haven't had to fight screens as much. And obviously we're playing. The starters are playing big minutes, so that it gives them an opportunity, not necessarily to rest, but to not have to chase guys as much distance.
Cool.